أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم حافظوا على الصلوات والصلاة الوسطى وقوموا لله قانتين وقال الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة وقال تعالى في مقام آخر إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بين الكفر والإيمان ترك الصلاة أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الأمي الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Respected elders, dearest brothers and my beloved youngsters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We meet again. We met a little while ago, a few months ago, where we started this kind of gathering for youngsters. Alhamdulillah, it gave me great pleasure to see that this kind of gathering, it is continual with istiqamah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may He keep these kind of gatherings going until our lives and even after our lives, until the Day of Judgment, so that we can be those who initiated these kind of gathering, and even in our qabr we'll be there many hundreds of years later or even thousands of years later, and we will be seeking the rewards of these gatherings inshallah. This is no little thing. We're coming here, sacrificing a little time for us. We've taken our time out and we've sacrificed our time and come into the masjid. It is no little thing. We may term it to be, oh, I'm going, we'll see what he has to say. But the amount of reward behind this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only knows. How much benefit there is, not only for me and you, for those to come later. Truly we can't comprehend. So we only thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, that He has given us this opportunity, this ability, this time. How many people that were inside in the masjid at Maghrib, but how many had the opportunity that they had the ability to stay behind and actually sit and seek and reward and take this immense reward and shower mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is willing to shower upon us in these gatherings. I'm sure we've heard many times. So this is truly the great blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Him alone. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that what we are going to hear today, what we are going to learn today, what we are going to be reminded of today inshallah, we are going to try our best that we're going to take it and we're going to act on it. This is our intention from now inshallah. So we sit here with this open heart, our clear and sincere intention that we're sitting here solely to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know many of you youngsters, children, we'll be sitting here. Why? Because dad's told me I have to sit. Yeah. But we have to sit here anyway now, yeah. So let's have this intention, change your intention now. Have this intention that I'm sitting here, why? I'm sitting here because of Allah. Okay? So that intention is not because of dad, but now the intention is why I'm sitting here because of Allah. Okay? So everyone's going to have that intention now, right? So you're sitting here now. From now, every second, there's a reward being written for you. Why? Because you're sitting here for Allah. So this is our intention now, inshallah, okay? Now, when Imam Sahib told me to speak today, I asked him what to speak on, and he told me to speak on a little bit about Salah. So I thought, okay, as Salah is something which is the most important aspect of our lives. After Iman, the most important worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most important thing to us is Salah. It is that obligation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed upon us, on our shoulders, which is daily, every day. The second pillar, as we know, of Islam. So important this Salah is that, I want to try and explain a little importance to you of how we should understand Salah. Because we all know, right? If I ask anyone that's sitting here in the gathering, if I ask you, how important is Salah? What will you say? Yes, very important. It's farz. Everyone will say that, yeah? But do we truly display that in our behavior? It's on our tongues, yes? It's in our mind, that importance of Salah. But is it in our behavior, in our actions? When the time comes, when, let's say for instance, on Monday, right? On Monday, who's playing? Who's playing on Monday? Huh? Nobody knows? Don't tell me nobody knows. Who's playing on Monday? What game's on? Huh? Who's playing football on Monday? Go on. Who's playing on Monday? Yes? United Liverpool, yeah? United playing Liverpool, right? What time's the kickoff? 8 o'clock. Can you see here? What time is Isha? 8 o'clock. What's going to happen at 8 o'clock? Dilemma, right? Dilemma. Shall I go for Salah or am I watching the game? I can't miss the build-up. I want to see the team lineup. I want to see who's put on. I can't miss it. Don't worry, I can pray Salah afterwards, isn't it? So we've said with our tongue that Salah is very important. But what do we display with our behavior? Oh, it's not that important. It's not as important as my football or my TV or my drama or my soap or my, whatever else that we're watching on TV. Why? Because, no, I can't miss this episode. I have to watch it. Yeah. Or we're playing the PS and we're trying to build our ultimate team on FIFA, right? Yeah, the FIFA's just come out, right? So we're trying to build our ultimate team and we're saying, no, I just need a few more coins. I just need to unlock that package. I might get that player. Yeah? So what happens? Namaz time, mum's saying, go, namaz. But dad's not home, is he? So he's fine. Yeah, I'm going. Mum doesn't know she's in the kitchen. So what happens? We're playing. Mum comes, did you go namaz? Yeah, I just came back. Yeah. Nobody knows. So what's more important to us? What is more important to us? Is it our Salah that is more important to us, or all these other things that we find pleasure, or we try to find pleasure in? Because that's what truly we are doing as humans. What are we doing? We try to find pleasure with different things in the world. Some try to find pleasure in wealth. So everyone will think that I want to earn so much money, because if I earn this much money, then I will be pleased, I will be content, I will be happy, I will live a peaceful life, because I will have a nice house, I'll have a nice car, and I can sit back on my sofa and enjoy. Everyone thinks this, yes? So some try to find pleasure in wealth. Some will try to find pleasure in women. So people will want to know that Julie, I want to know that girl, I want to know her, I want a number. Try to contact her. Yes? And go out, talk, chat, visit. All of these things that come along, right? So what happens? Some people try to find pleasure in this. Some people try to find pleasure in cars. So I want to buy a nice car, I want to kit it up, yeah? Make it lowered down, put hydraulics on it, put nice wheels, nice alloys, put a nice exhaust on it that it can sound, and put a nice bass box in the back that can wake the whole room up, whole street up. And you'll be driving past and setting off car alarms. So everyone's finding pleasure, isn't it? Everybody is looking for contentment, this happiness in this world, and different things people see this pleasure in. So they'll focus their attention, they will strive, they will wake up in the morning. Why? Because of this. Because of this. That's the focus. So everyone's looking for this pleasure, without understanding that Allah has not kept pleasure in these things. This is not the pleasure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, هُجِبَتِ النَّارُ بِالشَّهَوَاتِ. These pleasures that we see, outward pleasures, when we unveil them pleasures, we move the curtain, we draw the curtain back. What do we find behind there? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in the hadith, He says that we find Jahannam there. This is where you will find the fire of hell. And it is those things which outwardly seem to be hardship, which outwardly seem to be, why do I have to do this? I'm going through this. I have to wake up for Fajr early hours of the morning. I have to go to the masjid. I have to do this, I have to do that. These are the things. وَحُجِبَتِ الْجَنَّةُ بِالْمَكَارِهِ. That the Jannah, it has been veiled with those things which are hardship, that we find hard. But when we unveil, when we move this curtain back, we draw this curtain back, what do we find behind there? We find Jannah. We find that pleasure that we've been looking for. This is that pleasure. This desire that we have in us of attaining pleasure, none of the things of this world, worldly things cannot satisfy this desire and this pleasure. Because that desire and this pleasure will only be satisfied in Jannah. It is not the things of this world, the pleasures of this world that will be able to content us, will be keeping us content. So this is what we need to understand. We need to focus on this. We need to realize this. That we say with our tongue that Salah is the most important. It is very important. But with our behavior, with our character, with our actions, we are not showing, we are not displaying that Salah is important. Because the minute a guest comes round our house, oh, my relative came, I didn't come for Salah. And then you meet a brother one day and you say, oh, I haven't seen you for a long time. Oh yeah, I was busy at work, and I went, this and that, all these other things, and I had so many things on. What do you mean? Do you mean to say that you are so busy at work that you don't have time for Salah? That's what we're saying, aren't we? And we commonly say it. We commonly say it, don't we? Oh, I was so busy, I just didn't get time. So what are we saying? We're saying we didn't get time for Allah. It's like we're saying to Allah, don't worry, Allah, if I get time for you, I'll come. That's what we're saying, aren't we? We have to think, isn't it? Step back for a moment and think at what we are saying. The importance of Salah is displayed to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in various verses of the Quran. Various verses of the Quran. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in Alif Lam Mim, right at the beginning, Surah Al-Baqarah? What does He say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes regarding those who believe in those who yu'minuna bil ghayb. Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghayb. Those who have Iman on the unseen, because we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without having seen Him, yes? We believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe in all the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us. This is Iman that we have. This is the most important, definitely. Iman. But after this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did He say? الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. Then, وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةِ. And they establish Salah. What do we learn? That after Iman, Salah is the most important. The most important. In the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has described that on the Day of Judgment, the first thing to be reckoned after Iman will be Salah. The first thing that will be questioned about. Because how important Salah is, we will be questioned regarding, did we establish Salah? Were you punctual of your Salah? Did you pray all your Salahs or not? We will be questioned regarding this. So Salah, it is the most important. So important Salah is, we can understand logically, isn't it? Let me give you a few logical understandings of what Salah, how important Salah is. Then inshallah we can maybe try to understand how truly important it is, and we can bring it into our lives. We can instill it into our minds, in our hearts, that truly Salah is the most important. How important Salah is. How important Salah is. That when we go and travel, right? we go on a journey, and normally when a person's traveling, it's hard to find time for anything, right? You're busy, you're traveling, and you don't get time. But as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Sharia, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, don't worry about it. You have to go in for travel. You can't pray 4 rakat. You can't pray 4 rakat. Don't worry, pray 2 rakat. But pray. Don't miss it completely. Make sure you pray at least. So that 4 rakat become 2 rakat. Discount, yes? Half price. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it. Why? To make it easy, so that we don't have to miss the salah. Okay, a person maybe is gone out somewhere and he doesn't have any water. You don't have any water. What do we do when we don't have water? Do tayammum, right? Do tayammum. Why? It's not like, oh, you don't have wudu, you don't have water to do wudu. Oh, don't worry, pray when you have water, do wudu, and then pray then. No. How important salah is? It is so important that do tayammum and pray, but don't miss salah. It is that important. How is it logical? Is it logical that you're going to strike your hands on dust? That's what we do, isn't it? On mud, on dust, you're going to strike your hands and you're going to put it on your face. Are you going to get cleansed? It's not going to clean you. In fact, it's going to make you more dirtier than you were before, right? It's not like wudu, is it? Where you are cleaning yourself actually. There's no logic behind it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, don't worry. You don't want to miss salah. Salah is so important. Do tayammum and pray. Don't miss salah. How important salah is that you can't stand and pray salah. You can't stand. Don't worry. Sit and pray salah. Sit down, but don't miss salah. That's not an excuse. Sit down. Oh, I can't sit even. I'm in so much pain, I can't sit. Oh, don't worry. You can't sit, don't worry. Lie down. Lie on your bed if you want to. Lie down and pray. With indication, pray your salah like that. But don't miss salah. Don't miss salah. A person is paralyzed. A person is paralyzed. They can't move their body. They can't move the body. The fuqaha have written that if he is able to then move his eyebrows, even if you are able to move your eyebrows, pray salah using the indication of your eyebrows. What? But don't miss salah. We will think that a person in this state, at least they will be excused, right? A person in this state will be excused. But even a person in this state is told, no, don't miss salah. Because salah is so important. How important salah is. How important it is that in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has described that the salah is like the head on a body. The head on a human body, it is the most important, one of the most important parts, right? Why? Because without the head, the body can't stay alive, right? Have you ever seen a person walking around without a head? No head is walking around. Anyone seen that? You won't see that, will you? But have you ever seen a person, not walking around maybe, but a person who doesn't have any hands, doesn't have any limbs, doesn't have any feet, doesn't have any legs even, no, just the torso and the head. There are people existing like that, right? Why? Because the head, it is the most important. You need a head, right? Without the head, you can't have the body. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam describing here that this example of salah is like the head on the body. It is so important, integral part of a human, of the Muslim. So important that it is like the head. The head is that honorable, that part of the body which is the most honorable part of the body. The most honorable part, the head. And this is the most honorable worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, salah. So important salah is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the hadith he described that the difference between bayn al-kufri wal-iman, the difference between kufr and iman, look how dangerous this is. How dangerous this is, that it is saying, the hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that it's the difference between a person's iman and kufr. Of course, person is a kafir. Why? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam described tarkus salah. A person misses the salah. This is the difference between the two. Now some mufassirun, some muhaddithun, some commentators of hadith have actually mentioned such stern words under the commentary of this hadith and said that person who misses even one salah, that person has left the fold of Islam. He has to recite the kalima, the shahadat again. Some have mentioned this, showing the importance of salah. Although the majority of the muhaddithun, they have described that this hadith doesn't mean the person has left Iman, his Iman is gone. No, that's not what the hadith means. It's just showing, like, there's no difference between the person who is this Muslim, who calls himself this Muslim, and the kafir. There's no difference between the two. Why? Because the kafir, if you analyze his day, he'll wake up in the morning, he'll wash his face, brush his teeth, he'll have his breakfast, he'll go to work, he'll do his, his normal things during the day, right? You analyze this Muslim's day then. What has he done? He's woke up, he's brushed his teeth, washed his face, he's had his breakfast, gone to work. What's the difference? What's the difference between the two? You look at the day of this kafir, you look at the day of this Muslim, is there any difference between the two? There's no difference between the two. And that is what Rasulullah is describing the hadith. That there is no difference between the two people. What is the difference in our life, daily life? It is salah. This is the difference. The drawing closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 5 times in a day. In different parts of our day, we are coming and remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how important salah is. And if I say the bottom line, if we say the bottom line of how we will understand how important salah is, in every other injunction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every other command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah gave many commandments, right? Allah has told us to do many things. And in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us, you have to pay your zakat, you perform your hajj, you have to make sure you're dutiful to your parents, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to stay away from this, you have to stay away from that, right? We've been told these things. And how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command us of these things? Is through Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, through the Quran. We have got the message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, through the medium of Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, who come down and he gave wahi, he gave down revelation to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, telling him this, this and that. And then this message has been passed to us, to me and you. Now when it came to salah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala felt that this is so important that I'm not going to send this message through Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam, that go and give this message to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, to Muhammad, that here you have to pray 5 times salah. No. This message is so important that I'm going to call Muhammad to me. He's coming to me. You have to come. He said to Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam that no, the message is not going. You're going to go down and go and collect Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Go and bring him to me. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to go all the way up to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there he was told the commandment of salah. This is how important salah is. When something is so important, you don't send it through a messenger. What do? You say, come, I'm going to give you the message myself. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the message of salah to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He gave him face to face. He told him, I'm going to give you this message of salah. No Jibreel alayhi salatu wasalam in between. And now we can understand the importance of salah, right? How important salah is. The salah is truly so important. And it is such a gift that Allah has given to me and you, isn't it? Such a gift. Now we want to try to understand as well. Now we've understood how important salah is, right? We want to understand, why is salah so important? Why is it that Allah has made salah so important? Is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enjoys ruining our sleep early hours in the morning? Yeah, you can't sleep for too long. No, get up. And then this is like a punishment for us, right? We want to get up and pray salah. And no, you can't be forgetting me during the day. You have to come and make sure you pray your salah. Is Allah getting some sort of enjoyment out of making us pray 5 times salah? No. It's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs me and you to pray salah. He doesn't need us to pray salah. Why? Because if he wanted, and if he found such pleasure in somebody praying salah, then Allah would create angels like he has, some of whom are always in ruku from the time they have been created till the end. They will be always in the same position. And some of them are always in sujood, and from the time they have been created till the time of end, they will always be in sujood. And there are certain angels who are constantly praying salah. There are angels who have been created like this. So if it was that, then Allah would, that's more than enough for Allah, isn't it? He doesn't need me and you to pray salah. What is our salah anyway? Where is our concentration anyway? How good is our salah to be presented in front of the courtyard of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anyway? So where does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala need our salah, me and your salah? It's not because of this reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loves me and you so much. And if we try to begin to understand how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves me and you, He loves us so much that He knows that if I did not prescribe the salah upon this human of mine, upon this beloved creation of mine, if I did not prescribe salah upon them, then what would have happened? Shaitan would have led him astray. Shaitan would have taken him so far into darkness, not just darkness, upon darknesses, upon dhulumat. Shaitan would have left him in the darknesses. And there they would have suffered the ill fate of being thrown into Jahannam in hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves me and you so much that He puts these positions. That's why the 5 times salah, they have been spread out during the day. It could have been Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wake up in the morning and pray and then go, that's it, finished. You can do whatever you want during the rest of the day. Or come back home at night and pray then. It could have been like that, yes. Like the people of other religions, what do? They wake up in the morning and they will worship. Yeah, and then after the rest of the day, forgotten. God is forgotten. Allah is not there anymore in their lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, is put salah in key junctures of our life, different times of our life, key junctures of our life. That's a topic on its own. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala having placed salah in key junctures of our life, so that it keeps us drawing us, it keeps us making sure that we are in check, so that shaitan is not able to misguide us so much. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed this salah. So the salah has been placed there not because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes it. No, why? It's because Allah knows that it is for me and you, it's for our own good. He loves us this much. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. That salah, it prevents a person from vile and evil deeds. From this vile, immoral, evil deeds, a salah will prevent a person from doing this. You try it. Try it. One day, pray 5 salah with Jamaat in the masjid. That day that you pray 5 times salah with Jamaat in the masjid, I guarantee you analyze that day, you will find yourself not doing those sins that you are so habitual of doing. You will find, compare that day to a day when you have not prayed one single salah. And I'm sure we've all, unfortunately, we've had these kind of times in our lives where we've not prayed one single salah. We missed all of the salahs. There have been occasions like this in our lives. And analyze that day now. Think back to that day. And reminiscence will be there. That we will be reflecting upon all the sins that we have earned that day. We have done everything. We'll regret even now that we have spent time like this in our lives. We should repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that never a day should come like this ever again in our lives. From now on, we spend our day with 5 times salah, and it will continue, it will keep us revived. Our Iman will be there, the light that we need, this nur that we need to fight the evil of shaitan, to fight the evil of the nafs. This nur, the light, will carry on reviving through the 5 times salah. It will give us enough light then to see sense, to see the straight path. Otherwise, what happens? Otherwise, what happens? A person goes into the tunnel so deep that there is no light. It's pitch darkness. It's pitch dark. And I have met people like that, unfortunately. No matter what you say to them, no matter how much you explain to them, they don't want to know. They're not ready to understand, they're not ready to reflect. And I'm sure many brothers here would have come across friends like this as well, who you try your best to explain to them, but they don't see it. They don't see the light. And how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done this even Himself in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done this so much in the Quran. You know, just to give you an example. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He mentions that Allah gives an example. He gives an example of what? He says that, you know, you people, you have slaves, right? In them days when the Quran was revealed, people had slaves. I'm sure we can somehow understand this concept of slavery and how people were, and we can reflect on this, right? So in that time, people had slaves. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, you know, your slave, maybe you can reflect to it by method of employee. Yeah? So we're the employer, we are the boss at work, and we've got some employees at work, right? We've hired some people at work. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, you know, this person that you have under you, the slave, would you make this slave equal to you? Make him equal to you. Would you give him the same position? That, you know, I have the certain powers in this company, you have the same powers. Exactly everything the same. Would anyone do that? No one would do that, right? Nobody in their right mind would do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, even He says, even that wealth that you are not giving them possession over, you're not making them equal to you, yes? That wealth even, does it even belong to you? Is it even yours? It's that wealth that I've given to you. It's not even yours. And you care so much about that wealth that you're not going to make somebody equal to you. So equal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that you fear them just the way they fear you. In regards to the company, in regards to the whatever it is, you're making them equal in. That equal. Make them that equal. Would you do it? Nobody would do it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, then why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make His servants, His slaves, His creation partner of His? Then why do you do shirk? Allah is sending this message to the people of the people who do shirk. The mushrikun of Makkah at that time, they were doing shirk, they were worshipping idols. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving them such a logical explanation, isn't it? So logical, it's true. They should have said, yeah, that's true. We will never make somebody who's our slave our partner. Then Allah is not going to make a slave of his partner. So why do we worship this idol, that idol, and we believe them to be the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the servant of Allah, and we do shirk with them? No, we can't do that. That's something logical, isn't it? But despite having such logical explanations in front of them, they were still not ready to understand. They were still not ready to repent from their ways. Why? Because they were so deep in that tunnel, so much dhulumat and darknesses, that doesn't matter, a little torch, you come with a little torch, it's not going to take this darkness away. There's not enough light there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that if these 5 times salah are not there, what will happen? That servant of mine, that slave of mine will be drifted so far away from Iman and Islam, which drifted so far away, they will be flung into deepness, into the depth of darkness, that what will happen? Shaitan will lead them astray towards the path of Jahannam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot bear this. Allah loves us so much that He keeps these 5 times salah at different junctures of our day, so that we are reviving this light of ours, our nur, so that we are able to understand this is the path I'm meant to tread. This is the path of Jannah. This is the path of pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we've understood why, we've understood the importance of salah, right? How important salah is. Now we've understood that salah, it is so important, but it's for me. That salah, it's so important, it's for me. It's nothing and nobody else. So if we understand that, then what's stopping us? What is keeping us from praying that 5 times salah? If we understand it, that this is for me. Yes. When we get hungry, what do? We eat, right? Are we going to starve ourselves? No, I'm not going to eat. I'm going to starve myself. Why? We do eat, don't we? Why do we eat? Because we know that eating is for my own good. If I don't eat, I'm going to be ill. Yeah. It's for my own good. In the exact same manner, we have to understand, this mentality has to be there, that this salah, it is for my own good. It is the food of my spirit. It will keep me alive spiritually. If I don't pray, then I will be dead. I will starve my ruh, my spirit. We have to start to think of this mentally. If we start to think of this, there will be nothing in the world will come in our way, but we will make sure we pray our salah. This salah will be the most important thing to us. That priority to us, number 1 priority. Then you know, when you see certain brothers and certain sisters, yeah, when you are going shopping and you see that they're praying in the corner in a mall, they're praying, everyone's walking about, they'll be praying. And you yourself as a Muslim will think shy about it. What's he doing? Yeah. People are going to look, you know, couldn't they find a corner? Oh, this and that. We'll think like this, don't we? We ourselves as Muslims, we feel inferior like this. But then we won't think like this. Why? Because we know that this is most important to me. If that mother has no shame in opening her breast to give her child milk in public, and we see that happen many times, yes, you will see That a mother is breastfeeding her child, sitting on the seat, no problem. Certain people do that, don't they? Why? Because they know that this is why I'm doing something natural. Well, have you got a problem with it? Because they think of this as important. The baby's crying, it's important. We will think that this salah is as important, if not more important. We'll pray. There will be no issues. There will be nothing about it. The importance of salah will be there. So now the important salah is there. We understand that salah is so important. Why is it so important? That it is for me. Now we understand one last aspect. One aspect we need to understand. That, you know, when something is so important, when something is so important, what happens? Because of its importance, you get so much reward for fulfilling that thing as well. If you told somebody to do something, and it was so important to you, when they did it, you become very happy with them, won't you? In fact, what you may do as well, you'll open your wallet and you'll give them some money, right? Here, go and buy something. You'll treat them, right? Why? Because they did something which is so important to you, right? So when something is so important, the rewards that are there are so magnified as well. So much more multiple rewards as well there. As well as this, when something is so important and that is not fulfilled, that is not abided by, then the punishments for it, the warnings that are there for it are also magnified. They're both on extremes. So the rewards are on extremes, but the punishments are also on extremes. To depict this without really scaring people, you would say, but to depict this, we can understand a few points. And inshallah, we hope that we can hold firm to this, remember this, the next time shaitan comes to us and tries to deviate and divert us away from our salah, then remember these things. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in Surah Al-Ma'un, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. What does it mean? Wail, you can say woe be, but according to the tafsir of Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, he says that wail is a valley in Jahannam. A valley in Jahannam, right? This wail is a valley in Jahannam. Such a valley in Jahannam that Jahannam itself seeks refuge from this valley 400 times every day. Every day Jahannam is seeking protection from this valley 400 times. Imagine the punishment that is in store for the people who are going to be in this valley. This wail. So he says wail, this valley, it is for who? Lil musallin. Fawailul lil musallin. This wail, this valley, it is for the people who pray salah. Now we are confused. We are in shock. We are thinking, what? The people who pray salah will be in this valley? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further says, yes. Which musallin, which people who pray salah? الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. Those who are lazy from their salah, who stay back, who are lazy from their salah. And the Mufassirun have explained that this means those people الَّذِينَ يُؤَخِّرُونَ الصَّلَاةَ عَنْ أَوْقَاتِهَا. Those people who delay the salah from its time. They don't pray salah on time, they do qadha. That is this punishment in store for these people. Now imagine, these are the people who are at least doing qadha and praying the salah. What will happen to me and you? How many salahs that we have neglected and missed, and we don't even think about qadha. It's gone, it's finished in our lives. What is the punishment in store for this group of people? We can only bring tears to our eyes in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and truly seek Allah's forgiveness. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely from the bottom of our hearts that, oh Allah, forgive me for what I have done in the past. I have not understood. Now I understand. I will not miss any salah. Under this verse, Allama ibn Kathir mentions in his tafsir another hadith. He states that a person who misses one salah, and then makes up for it later, ثُمَّ قَضَى, then he does qadha of it later, he will be made to burn in Jahannam for one huqab. One huqab. And he describes, in the hadith, he describes that one huqab, it is 300 years. And each year, it is 360 days. So 600 years. 360 days each year. And each day, it is equivalent to 1,000 years. 1,000 years. If you calculate it, it comes to 28,800,000 days. For what? For missing one salah and doing qada of it later. A person will be burning in Jahannam for this many years. 28,800,000 days. Can you understand the severity now? Can we try to really understand how important salah is, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you do not pray it, this is how much punishment there is waiting for you. But not only don't pray it, but if you don't pray it on time, it is that dangerous. So dangerous for missing salah. So dangerous for missing salah that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, now we know Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, right? He was rahmatul lil alameen, yes? He was mercy to mankind. He had so much love for me and you, right? So much love. He made dua, he would stand the whole night, his feet would become swelled. Yeah. He went to different places where his full body would be covered in blood. Why? Because he wanted to propagate the message of Islam. So that the deen could reach me and you. He doesn't even know me and you. He's never seen me and you. But he sacrificed his whole life. He left his hometown. He was expelled. He was kicked out of his hometown. Why? Because of this Islam. Because so that the message can reach me and you. He cared about us that much. But despite this, despite being so merciful for his creation, what is it for his ummah? What does Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? He says that I wish sometimes that I could tell the youngsters to go and gather firewood. Would go and gather firewood from the forest, so that I can take this firewood and I can go and burn the houses of those people who are praying salah at home. Those men who don't come to the masjid and pray salah at home. Despite being mercy for mankind, he's saying such harsh words, isn't he? You're praying, why? You're praying salah at home, you're a man, you should be coming to the masjid and praying salah. I want to burn your house down. This is how severe it is for you to pray salah at home. But look, at least he's praying salah at home. What will happen to me and you? What would Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam think of me and you who are not even praying salah? We rather choose to sleep because our sleep is more important. But when we have to wake up for work, half an hour later or 1 hour later we'll have to wake up for work, but we'll be up and rising, shining, and we were ready for waking up. Why? Because this work is more important for me than it is to wake up for salah. What is wrong with us? Sometimes it's just like we have to grab ourselves, we have to shake ourselves, we have to understand, what am I doing? What am I doing? Look at ourselves in a mirror. Contemplate, ponder, take hisab of ourselves before the day comes where we'll have to stand in front of our Creator, and He will be standing in front of us and He will be asking us that, what were you doing? It'd rather be that we look at ourselves in the mirror today and we think to ourselves that, what am I doing? Which way am I heading? We have to understand, salah is this important, so important part of our faith, so important, such an important part of our Islam and our Iman. We have to. There's nothing in the world now that can come in our way. After understanding all of these things, despite understanding these things, we cannot then stand and we cannot have this intent that we will never ever, we will miss salah now. Now our intention should be, from this point now, that I will never miss salah. And the best way to do this is to make sure that we are punctual of salah in the masjid with jama'at. That's the best way to do it. If you think to yourself that I'll pray salah at home sometimes, you know, Fajr is too hard to come, I'll pray salah at home, you will find yourself not praying. I guarantee you, let a couple of weeks go by and you'll find that you're going back to old ways again. The best way is to make sure that all 5 salah you're praying in the masjid with jama'at. That's the best way. And if you try to be punctual of that, you will see that in your life there is barakah now. There is blessings. Because like I said, the person who fulfills these deeds of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're so important, aren't they? Allah will give you so much blessings in your life. Today our lives are full of worry, of anguish, of anxiety, of depression, of all the worries of the world, isn't it? Everything is going wrong in our lives. Why? Because we are not drawing the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our lives. We are not seeking that barakah and blessings in our lives of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hold firm to 5 times salah and see how much barakah comes into your life. See how much blessings will enlope your life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cover your life with blessings and barakat. You will find it. No, you know the youngsters that are sitting here today, the fathers that are sitting here with them. How much pleasure does it give to you that your son or your nephew or whoever it is that is sitting here with you? It gives so much contentment and pleasure in the heart, isn't it? I guarantee, I'm telling you, there will be nothing in the world that is more pleasing, more cooling to your eyes than to see that your son is treading the path of Jannah. There's nothing. Not that your son has become a doctor in his field and he's graduated in university with a master's. That will not give you so much pleasure like it will give you when you see that your child is treading the path of Jannah. I guarantee you, at this moment in time, our focus may be on certain smaller short-term goals, but let me tell you, this pleasure that you will feel when your child is treading the path of Jannah, it is truly, you have to feel it. It is this halawah that you will feel, this beauty and this taste that you will feel. You will know that I can rest in my qabr at ease. And this will start from us parents. It will only start from us. We have to be the role model for our children who are sitting here. We have to be the role model of making sure that we are so firm on our 5 times salah. They will see that my father always used to go masjid. It doesn't matter how it was. We were shopping and my father would drop everything and he would say, no, we have to pray salah. We have to find a place to pray salah. This is, when we were traveling, we were on the motorway, my father would pull up in the cafe and he would say, no, we have to pray salah. It's time for salah. This importance will instill into them, not by telling them. By telling them is not going to happen. By bringing them here and me telling them is not going to happen. It is through behavior. It is through our behavior, because us humans, we are the biggest thieves of behavior, of human behavior. We steal behavior from one another. We hang around with certain individuals, we'll start acting like them. Now someone's got a habit of doing certain things. Sometimes people have a habit of doing certain things, right? Now someone's got a habit of blinking a lot. Or somebody's got a habit of kissing the teeth a lot. Or somebody's got a habit of doing some little things like this. So what happens? It brushes off onto us, isn't it? Before we know it, we're doing the same thing. And we'll go home and the wife's telling us that, why are you doing this for? Why are you kissing your teeth every time? Why am I doing that? I didn't realize. What happens? Human behavior, it's contagious. It spreads. Because we learn from one another. You see our children, how they copy us. They grow up and they're doing things. Where did you learn that from? Because they learned it from us. They learned it from the adults. Why is it, to give you a simple example, why is it that, we find ourselves, why is it that the masjid is full in Jum'ah? We've always thought that, why is it that the masjid is full in Jum'ah? Why? Sometimes you ask the people that come there even, they won't even know. Say, hey, Jum'ah, you have to come. But why do you come for Jum'ah? Why only Jum'ah? Well, because it's Jum'ah, yeah, we have to come. It's Friday, innit? That's what we'll say, innit? We won't know why. We'll say, why? But why is it? Why? Is because when we grew up, when these very people grew up, they saw their fathers showing such importance to Jum'ah. We'll have a bath, we'll wear a nice ironed clothes, mum will be ironing my father's clothes, the father will wear the nice clothes, he'll put itar on, he'll comb his beard, or he'll make sure his hair is combed nicely, he'll wear his new hat, his new washed socks, he'll go early to the masjid, and he'll take me as well when I'm off. This much importance is shown to Jum'ah. What happens? Every week we're praying every week. What happens? When these children are growing up, they're seeing this. When these children grow up, what happens? They start acting on this. And they will come to the masjid. They won't even know why they come into the masjid. But they'll come to the masjid on Jum'ah and they'll pray Jum'ah. And they'll come last minute, when the khutbah is finished even, they will come and they will go salam and they will go. You don't even know why. They don't even know why they've come. So many of them don't even know the rulings of how to pray salah properly. They won't even know how to pray Surah Al-Fatiha properly. But they will come to the masjid and pray Jum'ah. Why? Because this much importance is given, because from the young age they've seen that. If we as adults show this importance to our 5 times salah, our children will grow up seeing that my father used to give this much importance, seeing the mothers at home giving this much importance to salah, that they are always making sure they're praying their 5 times salah. What will happen? Our children will grow up and they will be praying, then they will be punctual of their 5 times salah. And then, this coolness of our eyes we're talking about, this coolness of the eyes will naturally be there. There's nothing else we need to do. It's not rocket science. I'm not telling you something which we have to do. We have to like move a big mountain here, yeah? We have to do nothing. It is so easy. So easy. Sometimes we come to the Moulana, to Sheikh, to ask, give me some taweez, or give me something to pray. My child is my child is involved in drugs. My child is gone astray and he's involved with this and all of these other things we say, yes? But I tell you, simple solution. Simple solution. Become punctual of 5 times salah. Bring this barakah and blessings into your home. Your child will see how important salah is in our lives. When they grow up, they see this, they will act on this. They will act on this. This will happen naturally. So I leave you with this simple solution, inshallah, this practical solution that we can all hold firm to, inshallah. We've understood, to recap, we've understood the importance of salah now, yes? How important salah is. So important in Islam. And then we've understood, why is it so important? It's important for me, so that I can stay in check. That's why it's so important. And we've understood that there are certain punishments awaiting. Whenever the shaitan comes next time to tell us that, no, go sleep, then remember, we'll have to burn in Jahannam for this many amount of years. If you remember that, it's going to wake up us quickly. We'll be ready to throw that duvet over. We say, that's it, get up. So remember these kind of things. And remember that when we are punctual of our 5 times salah, it will give a very good example to our youngsters in the home, our youth growing up. And inshallah, we will see a harmonious community and environment, and we'll see floods of people coming in for Fajr. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to bring this, and may He bring a time on us that we see this in our community. We need to start from somewhere, right? And this effort starts from us. It starts from me. I need to do it. If we start this effort on ourselves, inshallah, it will continue, and others will take suit as well, and it will become easy for the community to then start to bring these kind of things in action. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability. Amin ya Rabbal Alameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. সম্মানিত মুসলিম ভাই ও বোনেরা, আদর্শ জীবনের পক্ষ থেকে আপনাদেরকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। ভিডিওটি দেখার জন্য আপনাদেরকে আন্তরিক ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি। আশা করি আমার এই ভিডিওটি আপনাদের অনেক ভালো লেগেছে। আমার আরো নতুন নতুন ইসলামিক ওয়াজের ভিডিও দেখতে হলে দয়া করে আমার চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন। সাবস্ক্রাইব করলে অটোমেটিক্যালি আমার ভিডিও আপনাদের কাছে চলে যাবে। প্লিজ লাইক, কমেন্ট এবং শেয়ার করে আমাকে মতামত জানিয়ে উৎসাহিত করবেন। জাযাকুমুল্লাহ খাইর।